think I'm livening things up here. I see what I did there. Okay. Yes, we are live-ish. Just hanging out for a little bit. Nothing to celebrate, nothing too exciting today. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Where are my gapers? Gappers? What are gapers? Gappers. Look how old school I am, guys. I'm gonna share with you a joint today. This is inhalants, something, indica, something. Got it free at the dispensary when picking up some carts to review, which we have to talk about, by the way. That's something we need to address. All that good stuff. Not a joint review. Hello, everyone. Hello. Just an enjoying. Although I've got my AC blowing right on me. Oh, fuck. I'm just gonna turn it off. I'll sweat for now. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome. Gravel, thanks for joining in, man. All right. Kenyon, hey, what's going on, Kenyon? Thanks for joining in from the from Oklahoma, the Sooners, the Okies, the somethings. Oklahoma, man, I've driven through your state several times. There are some interesting folk who live in Oklahoma. Some real interesting folk. Ben, welcome, Ben. Jared, what happened to Puffy? Did I ever take them down? I wish. No, they are. I think they're still out there. No, I'm certain they're still out there. Their advertising has been down. I don't see them buying up billboards quite like they were a couple months ago, but yeah, they're still out there ripping people off. Tony, enjoy your blackberry tea. I'm so high already. Oh, I should show you. I'm on a Firecracker right now, and it's revolting. I did a Firecracker last live stream. I started it about an hour before this stream, and I am incredibly already in a very, very fun place. I dread having to eat any more of that Firecracker, but I'll take a couple more bites for you guys. Not that I really need it. Okay, where are we? Gravel says, this is the first time he has seen me smoke flower. It might be the first time I've ever done flower on camera. Thanks for noticing. No, I'm sure I've done it on a live stream at least once before. I know I've had a bong. What's up, Stubbo? Hey, Tony. Thanks for checking in from Pennsylvania. You've got all those P cities. You got your Pittsburghs, your Philadelphias. That's the only two P ones I know. But it's not like Ohio with their C cities. You got your Clevelands, your Cincinnati's, your Columbuses. Fucking Ohio. King Yeti says firecrackers sound great. They're usually not bad. You're not supposed to use basically a whole gram of AVB per firecracker, though, unless you want it to taste like... This is officially the worst edible I have ever had. I've not actually tasted an edible for sale at a store that is worse than this. I have broken boundaries with this. If there's ever like a new fear factor, like that Joe Rogan guy, if that Joe Rogan guy ever needs another job, it seems like, he's probably not doing a lot these days. So if fear factor ever comes back, instead of eating like, balut, like fermented chick's eggs with actual embryo in them, or, eating Madagascar hissing cockroaches, none of that. They should just have him eat one of these firecrackers. after the first bite, Joe Rogan's not going to have to pay anybody a cent because everybody's backing out. What's up, Joe Rogan? I actually talking too much about Joe Rogan. Okay, where are we? Tyler says, oh, an Ardent Nova. Tyler, I have had an Ardent Nova for about, I don't know, quite a while, some time now, maybe 3-4 months. I really enjoy it. It is a great way of making THC capsules, which is what I've mostly done. I have no skill in baking or cooking, as you can probably tell by that rant I just went on about my firecrackers, but shit. Okay, where are we at? Jared says, good stuff, man. Thanks for your videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. Boss, sup, Wheats. Thanks for telling me which edibles to buy, my man. My pleasure, dude. Boss, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the videos. Glad I've been able to steer you in the right direction. Oh, and you just got yourself some moon edibles. Those sub bitches are great. I have not seen them around in a while, which has me worried. I don't know if they're, I hope they're doing okay, as a company, but I haven't seen them, certainly not to the same degree that I used to see them, which is a shame because they were really good. Okay. Jared says, how do you make your firecrackers? Well, I just described it somewhat. Way too much vaped bud from my volcano. Just old shit. And Nutella. Mix it all in a bowl. And spread it out over some graham crackers. 22 minutes in the oven. Wrapped in aluminum foil at 325 degrees. Take them out, let them cool, and you've got yourself an expectorant. Is that what what is an expectorant? That's a thing that makes you sneeze? That's not a thing that makes you barf, right? What's something that makes you barf? It'll get you high though. Okay. Where we at? Lil Zan says, Weed Jesus, we love you. Well, that's so great for calling me Weed Jesus. I think of myself more as a weed, what's a weed Dionysus, or some kind of Bacchanalian god, not a Jesus. I'm too much of a hedonist to be Jesus. Although he was a cool dude, if he existed, the whole rich people suck thing and be good to people. I love all that stuff. Okay, where are we at? Oh man, I am so far behind already. Kenyon says, what are you about to say about carts? I'm curious about your input about the latest news about black market carts. Kenyon, great point. I will address carts again very soon. Kyle says, I'm subbing to you. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate that, man. Thanks so much for tuning in as well. Tony says, in PA, in Pennsylvania, if you want edibles, you have to make them. And trust me, we are taxed to everything weed-related. Us Southern Californians hear you about those taxes, Tony. There's actually quite a few initiatives in California to lower cannabis taxes. Because the sales have not been as robust as originally projected, largely because people continuing to buy from the black market because it's so much cheaper because of the insane taxes. I'm all for taxes. I think taxes are great, and I think weed should be taxed for sure. Unless you're taking it for medical reasons, then of course it should not be taxed. But it is sort of outrageously taxed in certain areas, which then encourages black markets and yada 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 yada. Okay. Boss says, bro, you gotta watch Joe Rogan's podcast. It's an experience. I knew about it. I was being facetious when I was talking about Joe Rogan earlier. I know the man is is a polyglot in terms of his entertainment empire. He's a bit of he's ever present and a bit of a controversial figure, Mr. Rogan. All right. Lil Zan says firecrackers are pretty nasty on the real. That is true. But you can definitely make them better than I can. It takes a certain kind of a certain lack of something inside one's head, some kind of innate understanding about temperature and how that relates to sort of properties of food, and how that I think most people just have a better understanding of like, this looks like a horse had diarrhea is what it looks like when I make the batch up, because it's just grass bound up by some brown stuff. And I don't do that for my benefit. I just do that because I'm lazy and I don't know what I'm doing. But that's not true, because I do know what I'm doing, because I just, sort of explained why I did it so poorly, or how I did it so poorly. But that's neither here nor there. My ramble should let you know how effective that strategy can be if you choose to go down that path, though. You will have some very strong, very grotesque firecrackers. Okay. Go. I gotta move on with the chat. Thank you, Stubbo, for your kind words about bringing the positive information to San Diego. I'm glad you're spreading the word. And King Yeti says Joe Rogan cheating on his wife. Ooh, that's some juicy gossip. I hope that's not true for everybody involved, unless that's, okay with them, then more power to them. I'm not here to judge. But if he's really, being unfaithful, then that is terrible. Okay. Stubbo says, I've been bringing dispensary reviews on my Instagram to the community so new patients and recreational users don't feel so intimidated when visiting a local dispensary. Stubbo World, that's great. I hope it is working. I hope you're getting a following. And Stubbo, if you'd like, please share a link right here in chat to your Instagram or your YouTube or whatever. Let people check it out. I have no problem with that. Tyler says, I need to infuse it in coconut oil. That new sleeve they came out with for concentrates sold me, which I have as well. But I have not actually done infused any extracted any concentrates. I know some people have done that, which are decarbed concentrates, like straight up shatter or whatever. I've never done that. I would love to do it because it's probably obviously be super potent, but I just haven't done it. I have infused a lot of things, however, with my Ardent Nova. Mostly I infuse MCT oil because I have read that has the greatest THC absorption rate of any sort of oil that's commonly available. Okay. Alex says, what's up? Not too much, Alex. Thanks for joining in, man. Jared says, thanks, man. A nice recipe. Seems extremely potent. Yes. I do not recommend these firecrackers for anybody who does not do edibles very often, because they are... it would be overkill, and you might lock yourself on the couch for a couple hours. All right, it's a review for a promotion. Oh, is that on your Instagram? Well, share it, man. That joint doesn't want to stay lit. No, I need to bring it back out, don't I? Oh, wow, that is a lot of brownies, man, and that is a lot of decarbing shatter. Yeah, I think the Ardent Nova will help you pare down a lot of that prep time, dude. I think it'll help quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I think if I wasn't so lazy, I have my Ardent Nova in that closet right there. It's right behind me. It's just not plugged in at the moment, but that's where it lives. The Ghost Show says, I'm not using that oil anymore. What oil is that, The Ghost Show? Oh, that's cool, man. 160 followers. Started on Mother's Day. Pretty nice. CC Hernandez says, pre-roll reviews. I hope your name is CC. If not, please correct me. Says, pre-roll reviews? No, just enjoying a freebie that was, I purchased a bunch of stuff from a dispensary recently, and I decided, hey, in addition to these nasty firecrackers, I'm going to smoke this joint with all my buddies. And then the Ghost Show says, not vaping anymore? No, not true at all. Still, we'll talk about vaping here in a second, especially vaping oils, but no, I still use my Volcano, and I still use cartridges. I just enjoying a rogue random joint. There we go. All right. Grovel says, you get any new Switch games yet? Well, Grovel, I'm glad you asked. I just beat Fire Emblem Three Houses earlier today, and it was great. It was 90 hours, which is insane. That's ridiculous. It was a great 90 hours. I loved it. I took the Black Eagle path, and I do think I will probably play it again and do one of the other houses, see what one of the other storylines is like, which is ridiculous because I've already played that game for 90 hours. So I finished that, and now I'm beginning to think kind of beginning to wonder about that Astral Chain. A lot of love for that game out there. I've never beaten a platinum game, which people love platinum games. Oh, I take that back. No, I beat fucking Metal Gear Revengeance, the one where you play as Cyborg Raiden with his like crazy jaw and you have a sword. I beat that game. That was good. But I don't know. I don't dislike platinum games, but I've never super loved them. But this Astral Chain game seems pretty good, and I just cannot put down that fucking Switch now. I'm still playing the shit out of Dragon Quest Builders 2 as well. All right. Tyler says, get out the Focus vape cart if anyone uses a Puffco Peak. It's a lot better of a product for a lot cheaper. I know a lot of people love that Puffco Peak. I have not actually tried one myself, but I would like to give it a shot, especially before investing, because it's not cheap. Ghost Show says, I'm not vaping with oil anymore. I'm stoned. Gotcha. Which is a totally fine decision, Ghost Show, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. I'm going to take these off. I don't really need these, and I was thinking about playing something. I'm just talking at this point. Oh shit, my eyes are super fucking... Damn. I'm pretty high. Okay. So, Stubba World says, talking about his Instagram, I'm doing the... That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're out there doing the Lord's work, as it were. The Ghost Show says, Shot Caller, LOL. What Shot Caller? The movie? I've just watched a movie called Shot Caller. Fairly interesting. Don't need to talk about that right now. Dano, welcome Dano. Dano says he's vaping some LA Kush Black Gelato. Have I ever tried LA Kush? I have tried LA Kush, and I thought they were pretty good. I've never actually done a review of them. I just tried them at an event kind of thing one time and enjoyed them. No super strong feelings one way or the other, but definitely had no problems with them. Gravel says, I'm thinking about getting Luigi's Mansion 3. So am I. I'm certainly going to wait until I hear, some more impressions. Maybe some reviews come out first. But if it's good, I will give it a shot. I somehow never played the first Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. I had a GameCube at launch, I had Rogue Squadron. I just never got Luigi's Mansion. There was very famously a shitty, trashy EGM score of Luigi's Mansion, and I was like, oh, EGM hated this. I can't play this. I was one of those guys. EGM, for all you youngins or non-nerds, was the best gaming magazine of the late 90s and early aughts. Pour one out for EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly. So Gravel, yes, definitely considering Luigi's Mansion 3, but gonna wait for impressions. Tyler says his Puffco is a $350 paperweight. Focus Vape cart kills it for $225. Oh, I have never heard of the Focus Vape. I will Google that right now, because I know the Focus Vape Pro Vaporizer. I'm seeing one that's only $99. Puff it up. There are a lot of things that go by the Focus Vaporizer. This looks like a pen, though. Is it an herb vaporizer? Oh. Okay. I might have to check that out. That looks pretty interesting. No, maybe Stubbo World. I'm not sure what I'm doing on the 20th just yet. What date is the 20th? It is a Friday. Probably busy in the morning and afternoon, but you can email me, Stubbo, wheatsreviews@gmail or wheats@wheatsreviews.com, and we can talk about it. Welcome. Ghost Show says, I'm pretty much going back just to plants. Edibles are cool, but every day gets tiring. I totally hear that, Ghost Show. I can see why doing edibles every day would be kind of, you get burnt out on it after a while, so to speak, in a manner of speaking, to mix metaphors. Real quick, let's get caught up in chat, and then we'll talk about carts for a second again. So, Panicking Panda, welcome Panicking Panda, thanks so much for joining. Says, hey Wheats, just wanted to say, been loving the past few reviews, great job. Try some full spectrum CO2 carts if you can find them in your area. They definitely have some, and I've tried some, they are great. I'm not 100% sure it's worth the premium if it's, sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but it sounds like a great extraction. Oh, Christopher, hey, thank you, Christopher. Oh my God. Yes, this is the guy who drew my my icon, my beloved icon. Thanks for joining in the chat, man. You're a legend. You're an icon. If you would please put your PayPal information in chat right now, I'd like to just give you $50 just because I think what you did is so great. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. If for no other reason, Christopher, then I like to support people who, I like to support artists. I think it's great anytime, I like the idea of artists getting paid for their work. So if you just want to leave a PayPal link, I'd love to pay $50. That's a slap in the face, Christopher. That's a slap in the face for how good of a drawing that was. So let me insult you by giving you $50, please. Okay. Stubbo also says, my fiance bought the glass blunt and I thought I would hate it, but wow. The Ghost Show, what is the glass blunt? Is it I'm guessing it is some kind of device for smoking flower, as you're back exclusively to flower. And Stebo asks, have I done a review of Dr. Norm's? I haven't seen it on your page. I feel like I've done a review of Dr. Norm's edibles. Maybe I haven't. I know I've had them, and I think they're really good. Maybe I thought I had done a review. I'll search for it later. But yes, they're good. I like Dr. Norm's quite a bit. Okay, where are we at? The Ghost Show says, are there chain stores for just medical marijuana yet? I don't know if they're chain stores. Well, I mean, in the areas where there is just medical marijuana, but there's still, license or dispensaries that aren't run by the state, there are definitely branded ones. Like MedMen, for example, I know has dispensaries in medical-only states, and they're MedMen branded. By the way, my beloved One Love just last Friday, I believe, so, like 3 days ago, converted from One Love Long Beach to MedMen Long Beach. It happened like that. It was just sudden. Walked by one day and all the One Love stuff was gone and all the red MedMen was everywhere. Christopher Oodle, but that I don't even have you credited. I don't even know how you let me know how to credit you at the very least, but I would really like to pay you something. Make me feel good. Okay, so where are we at? See, this is how adults act. Yes, what are you referring to, The Ghost Show? I'm sorry, I totally missed that. I'm new with gummies. Best brand, says Brittany Collins. You can't go wrong with Plus gummies. They're everywhere in Southern California. I think they're all over California. They're great, and they're usually a little bit cheaper than I'd say, yeah, they're cheaper than the average gummy, and they're totally great. They taste fine, and they will do the job. They usually come in 25 milligram little squares, and as I said, they taste pretty good. Plus, they're great, and they're all over the place. Ghost Joe says, and it's great. You're talking about the glass pipe. Yes. I will have to check that out now. That sounds pretty cool. The Ghost Show says MedMen are hated here in Las Vegas. MedMen is hated everywhere by people who are in the know, who know what, that they're just a tax. MedMen, just think of them as an additional tax on the local weed market. They buy dispensaries from places that have artificially limited supply, so that they don't have to compete with lower that with as many people. Then they'll just raise the prices, and the CEO will use it to use those extra $5 to fund his mistress's cocaine addiction. That is not. I don't know about that last thing, in case anybody's watching. Tyler says, we hate him in Los Angeles too. It's okay. See, I told you, us Angelinos. Well, I'm not an Angelino. I don't even know how to say also forgot what the term is to describe what a is-er. Like a Philadelphian, a Miami, a Knoxvillian, whatever, those things. There's a term for it to describe that. I don't know what you say, how you call somebody from Long Beach. I've never actually described it. Long Beachian, Long Beacher, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm listening to this great biography about the Romanovs right now, the Russian dynasty, and I had never heard this term before, and the guy was just saying it all the time, and I was like, what the fuck is this word, and why is he saying it so much and like acting as if I should know it, and I probably should have. But the term Muscovites, he was always talking about Muscovites. I'm like, who are Muscovites? Where are Muscovites from? What are Muscovites? And then it dawned on me, oh, that is the name of people who live in Moscow. They're called Muscovites. I had no idea. I never thought about what they would have been called before, but I'd never heard that term before. But yeah, if you're from Moscow, you're a Muscovite. Oh, well, thank you, Ghost Show. Thank you, man. Steve Andrews says, is the product sold at gray market dispensaries not tested? What's up with them? Steve Andrews, no, most of the product sold at gray market dispensaries is not lab tested. I mean, if they sell like if they sell, I see like Cushy Punch at those kind of places all the time, things like that. Sure, those are still tested because those companies are getting them tested regardless. And they're just selling them to whomever. But if it's like an in-house brand, if it's some like cheap edible, no, nobody's tested that. The package might say that it's been lab tested, but I guarantee you nobody actually has. Yeah, you have to watch out for that shit. If you're going to black or gray market dispensaries, that is a legitimate thing to be aware of, and I don't want to say worried about. I don't want to, start ringing the alarm bells about things, but it is certainly something you should be conscious of, and you should be considering before you buy anything at a black market shop in California right now. You need to seriously do some cost-benefit, CBA, cost-benefit analysis. Stubbo World says, I'm back. Anyway, about those Dr. Norm's cookies, I personally thought they were really good. They weren't too soft and mushy, and they weren't too crispy and crunchy. I feel like they're base. I know what you mean. A lot of the weed cookies out there, Korova, one of the bigger weed mini cookie brands, has these like super, you could use it as a blunt force object. Some people really like crunchy cookies, but and it's probably better for the cooking or like the shelf life for them to be that way. But yeah, they're rarely in that middle ground. And I did not remember that about Dr. Norman's, but I totally believe you. Sorry, Christopher says the incredible illustrator of my little icon says, sorry if this has already been asked. How would you rank Steezy versus Plug Play? It has not been asked. I will go ahead and tell you. You probably could figure it out from having watched those reviews. But there really is no contest. I will have out probably tomorrow, maybe Thursday, the Plug and Play versus Steezy head-to-head thing. It's done. I just have to make like a screenshot and all that shit. And I'll schedule it. It'll be like a premiere thing again, probably. But their Plug and Play is it's on a different plane of existence, even. I feel like I owe everybody a bite of this wretched, grotesque things. Brittany Collins says, can these be rewatched? I think so. I have the archive option selected, so it should be auto-saved, although I know it has had issues before. Okay, so this is, oh God, I want to throw up just looking at it. God damn it. I really don't know if I could do this right now. I might be so high already that the sort of extra sensory information that one gets when they are at this level of inebriation would make me over the top. I'm not kidding. Like, on the first time I streamed this last week, eating one of these, I gagged eating it. So I can't. I just looked at it. I didn't even smell it, and I was like, ugh. Another day. Back in the... Well, no. I think I'm just going to throw... I think I fucked it up. I just... It's... The juice ain't worth the squeeze. The juice is good. The juice is delicious. It might as well be ambrosia. But the squeeze, man, the squeeze, I'm squeezing so hard that my fingers are curling inwards, and they're like a beaver's teeth that haven't been chewing wood, and now they're growing in on themselves, and they're about to split out the back of my palm. That's the kind of squeeze. That's a gross metaphor. It doesn't really make any sense. And most people haven't ever even heard the term the juice is worth the squeeze. So I apologize for all of that. Actually, I don't apologize. I thought it was pretty good. Okay. So, Steve says, I'm not in a legal state. Thanks. You're welcome, Steve. And I'm sorry that you're not in a legal state. I hope you join the blessed ranks of us legal eagles, legal brothers, legal something soon. Can't really think of words right now. Words be difficult. Okay. Still working with the chat. I should do pop-out chat. I think I can do that. Why have I not popped this chat out? Damn you. Pop-out chat. Here we go. I did it. Okay. Oh, I know what I can do at the bare minimum. Christopher is now an official moderator. He's been christened. That's not what that means. Ghost Show says, buy at the black market and you'll catch China lead and die. It's not an impossible thing to believe. I keep saying, let's talk about carts. Let's talk about carts. Guys, I am truly 100% conflicted, and I don't even know if I should put it to a vote. I'm thinking about putting a poll out on the channel. Whether I have a lot of cartridge reviews that are edited and ready to go. I have the aforementioned plug and play thing. I have PAX Pod reviewed. I have a PAX versus Steezy video. I have I have a lot of things coming. I have a PAX versus plug and play review, and a bunch of pods and things and other carts and a lot of stuff in various states of completion. A lot of it already edited and done, but I don't feel 100% comfortable at this point in time. It doesn't seem good. It seems a little unethical, perhaps even a little immoral, to be reviewing things, because in reviewing things sometimes there's an tacit endorsement, and I don't think until there's some better information out there, I truly don't think I should be endorsing vaporizing concentrates or specifically concentrates at this point. There was the official 6th death today linked to this. At least 2 of them have been linked specifically to black market cartridges in California. I've seen one of the pictures is a dank vape cartridge itself. I mean, it is. So, you know, that is what the coroner or the medical examiner or whomever, I'm not sure, said, you know, that is the finger, that is the culprit that they pointed at. And 6 deaths in like 2 weeks is crazy. But that is also the thing that one needs to, or why there is a reason for a little bit of caution, because vaporizing, people have been doing it for a long time now. I mean, I said this in the last live stream. People have, marijuana vaporizers have been around since like 2013. Illegally in Colorado. I know I got one back then in a trip to Denver. So why now is there this sudden incredible frenzied rash of people dying from just, really horrific sounding pulmonary illnesses, and very quickly and very suddenly? Why wasn't that happening, 5 years ago? Why wasn't it happening 3 years ago? Why wasn't it happening 6 months ago? I'm not conspiracy mongering. There may very well be an explanation, and it may very well be, that there is something right now that is, I don't know. I'm a man, was an academic writer in another life. I very much trust the sciences. I very much trust researchers, and I'm going to just, I would say to anybody, be cautious at this point. I'm not advising you to stop vaporizing. That's not what I'm telling anybody. If you like your plug and play, continue using it. If you like your Kingpen, by all means, continue to use it. All I'm saying is, do your due diligence. Look at what is out there. Look at the evidence that is already out there. Know that no conclusions can be drawn from the evidence that is out there. There's just not enough evidence to draw any sweeping conclusions about anything. But there are certainly things that, assumptions that might be healthy to be made from the evidence that is out there. But that's all I'm saying is just look at what's out there yourself and just determine if it's still worth it for you. I personally am going to continue to use select vaporize brands for the time being. I will certainly not be purchasing anything from legal or black market dispensaries, even to do the sort of experiments that I've done with them. I would advise anybody to just stop that right now. There's no reason to continue doing that. I have quite a few videos about that topic. I think now I would be more firm and say don't do it. But again, the decision is yours. I'm sure a lot of them are fine, but you don't want to die of a horrific pulmonary illness. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know you. You don't know me. Maybe you know me. I hope you do. I think I don't know where I was going with that. So, back to the original framing of this whole thing, which was, I really don't feel like it's a good thing to do right now to encourage more usage of vaporizers until we have some better data, until the data points to a more clear picture, and then we can make, we can be good Bayesians. I always tell people to be a good Bayesian, update your priors. So once we have new evidence, we can say, oh, all right, my prior conviction here is, no, it's not worth it to do these brands, or it's not worth it to, vaporize altogether. But let's say new data that comes in and says, oh, it's this one particular chemical that was in this particular thing that people who have this genetic marker have this predisposition to have that, blah, 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 which may very well end up being the case, something like that. But once that evidence comes in, then you'll say, oh, well, if that seems like the case, well, then I can go back to vaporizing. Or if the converse happens, if the the data comes out, it's like, it's just now happening because it's just now the sort of elapsed amount of time has happened to allow enough people. I don't know, or there's some kind of new. Who knows why it would just be sort of this illness sort of popping into existence right now. There could very well be a reason, but if there is evidence that says that is the case, that this is a real thing, then update your priors again and say, even if you're saying like, well, I'm gonna vaporize, until they, what's the harm? Well, then once you do see the new evidence, you update those priors and say, well, shit, no, maybe it is time to stop. So right now, I need to get back to chat and I'll see what you guys are saying. But again, if you guys could just, help me feel it out here live, what you think. I think I'll probably also put up a poll. I can't guarantee that. I think I can guarantee if the poll says do not post any more cart reviews that I won't, but I can't guarantee the inverse of that, where if the poll says no, continue posting, that I won't stop anyways. I don't know. I think I might have to have the override, the veto power on that one. But okay, I'm gonna start going through chat here. Just know that's where I'm at with all of that. Okay. So, YouTube left a welcome aware thing. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community timelines. I don't know what that means. I also don't know, because Grovel said, welcome to the gang, Chris, but I don't see a Chris out there. Ghost Show says, go back to Flower, ride in the OG car homes. I will. Okay, have I tried West Coast Cure? Kyle, yes, I have. They are pretty good. I've never done an official review on them. They are better than average. I'll maybe one day see earlier topic. Steve says, I thought they were just black market carts and it was the additives. Steve, they don't know that for 100% sure. I know at least in one case that the cartridge that they suspect was purchased legally and had been lab tested. They think that right now that it's this, vitamin E additive that's the kind of marker that they're looking at. But again, it's not. It's so preliminary, you can't immediately assume that's going to be the case. And always, always, always trust scientists, trust the data, trust scientists, but always, always, always mistrust my former brethren, the science reporters, because they often are, well, no, science reporters are great, and they report hard science with, this sort of gravity and they do a much better job of conveying to the public that everything that we know as science is the conclusion is just a chance that is correct. There is no absolute conclusion, and you just, say there's a greater than 95% chance or whatever that this result or that this conclusion is true. I don't know where I was going with that, but good. So the Ghost Show says, dude, there's so many more once they go back and look. Probably. Hey, Wheats, Spoonly, welcome, by the way. Hey, Wheats, do you know if live resin and full spectrum parts can be completely excluded from this drama? It seems like a distillate issue. I don't know, and I would say at this point, Spoonly, nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. There are just hints. There are just clues. It is 6 people out of a pool of 6 deaths out of, I think they've identified 33 now that have the illness. That is not a giant sample. And any speculations and conclusions that you've seen on things like CNN that, just reported as like vitamin E additive, linked to blah, 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 blah. No. That is not that is not how you should see that. It is like there is a possibility that there is a correlation, not causation, between those two things. So again, I'm sorry, Spoonly, to say, I wish I could say, no, those are fine, go for it. I'd say it's more likely that they are fine than anything else, probably, significantly more likely. But again, there's no guarantee at this point until there's just more data, until we know more. It's just too soon, it's too quick, and the sample size is too small. Okay. Kyle says, fake carts are everywhere. I'm from New York City, and I saw it on the news and TV a few minutes ago about fake carts. Yes, that is true. They are everywhere. They, because of the lack of, I go over this. I actually have a video about why fake carts are everywhere. And a big reason is the lack of copyright protection. These brands that are big out here really can't get, they can't get federal copyright. So once a brand gets big enough, a unscrupulous person can just, scan in those art assets and buy some carts on eBay themselves and make their own shit using somebody else's branding. And that's just going to continue to happen because drugs are illegal weed is illegal federally. And it's illegal to send weed to New York City. So the person who is doing it is not going to be normally the most ethically sound person. So they're going to buy the name brand cart, but the fake name brand cart, so that they can sell it more in New York City, because the people in New York City have heard, I've seen this Brass Knuckles thing on High Maintenance on HBO. It looks good, but it's of course fake, because there's no way, Brass Knuckles has no way to go at the people who are stealing their branding. And it's just gonna continue to happen until there are some federal protections, or conversely, not conversely, but California might have to be super aggressive about regulations and cracking down on things, which is not what you want either. It's just a shitty situation. Okay. Cece says, Plug and Play and Steezy all have counterfeits in the LA area, and some of these have pesticides. That's true. They have fakes everywhere for those. They're not just in not just in Los Angeles. They're everywhere, as our good buddy Spoonly said, in New York City. You got to watch out for them everywhere. You can find on the big brands' websites, like the huge brands, will actually even tell you what dispensaries they're in. But again, that is not a guarantee at this point. So I don't want to suggest that that's the golden ticket. It's not known. The Ghost Show says, putting crazy stuff inside if active lung tissue isn't good. Who knew? Yes, we know that our lung situation, that the lungs are a pretty sensitive organ, thanks to our old nemesis tobacco, and maybe we shouldn't have been so cavalier with vaporizers, thinking that there was a free lunch there, but maybe not. But then again, it could all be nothing at the same time. It is not unheard of for there to be a panic arisen out of nothing, or it could just be a total anomaly, like a weird clustering blip, just a quantum snap of the fingers, that this weird thing showed up at once in this great numbers and then will, sort of dissipate harmlessly into the background. That is a possibility as well. Everything is a possibility until we know more. That's all I got to say. But again, I don't see if anybody has said if I should continue making reviews Oh, somebody did say, take some rips. And Dano, you got the right idea, my friend. We were getting a little heavy there. Let's get a little lighter headed here. Or something. I'm actually getting higher from the Firecracker that I had, that I'd been nibbling on for an hour before I started streaming. And I didn't eat it just once. I had like a bite right before I came on as well. So I am increasingly getting higher and higher. And it's an interesting experience. And I quite like it. Oh shit, I lost pop out chat. Fuck. Oh, there we are. Okay, take some rips. Man, I suck at taking rips. I forget to take rips. This is a pretty good joint. Thank you, dispensary. And thank you, inhalants. There's some buzz marketing for you, for all 20 viewers out there. Inhalants, you got some free exposure. I hope somebody out there buys some of these joints. No, I can't say that in good consciousness. I hope if somebody decides organically, not as influenced by me, to get one of these joints, then they should. Because I got this for free, and you shouldn't trust me. Because I don't know what I would say about it, because I didn't, so I'm not going to be hypothetical. I don't know what I would say about it if I had spent, say, $15 on it. But I got it for free, so I'm like, oh, this shit's great. So again, don't trust me on that. All right. Back to the chat. FaZe Hayes says, yeah, that's why I stopped with carts in general. I hear you, man. That's why a lot of people are... I've heard quite a few people getting off the train. I'm taking a break for this for now. We'll come back to it. Pretty good. I am... Wow. I begrudge no one for making that decision, FaZe. Ghost Joe says, hey, review flowers. The few that do it now are either boring as fuck or clear shilling for stores. I can do it without shilling for stores, but I'm not sure that I can do it without being boring as AF fuck. But here's my spiel briefly on flower and reviewing flower. I have a lot of people ask me to do it, which is really rude that I don't, because so many people are asking me to do it. But so for quite a few reasons, I'm not the right guy. I'm not the right guy because I don't have different strains to me don't mean too much. For me, high is one kind of thing. There's a bit of a spectrum to it, sure. But I think for me that's more setting and mood and other things and atmosphere that do that than the strain. But I'm willing to concede the fact that there is some, difference. But there is no such like this. So if I went to my dispensary, I'm pointing to where my dispensary is, everybody. Which is actually, yes, okay, yes, that is where my dispensary is. So yes, I was pointing to my dispensary that's right behind me, because it is, and picked up some strawberry diesel from, whatever place, or whatever, I guess they do have the farm listed on some are in-house brands, but, most of the farms are super local farms, like, too. It's not, it's usually not a huge thing. I mean, I have seen, like, Corova and larger brands, like Incandescent, but a lot of times it's just smaller, like, local things. And a strawberry diesel from one place to another place is completely different. It's almost ludicrous to assume that the one strain is that so similar to another strain at a different location that you could say that they are the same for, reviewing purposes, if you are even tuned into the differences enough, which I am not. There is no established baseline for what any strain is. I mean, there's not an strawberry diesel. There's no original Gorilla Glue number 4 that like is the reference point. It's just because there's no way to you can't patent a weed strain at this point. So people just take those names and borrow them, and sure, they may have had, some seeds from one of those plants or plants that were called that at one point, but it's been so diluted and hybridized for so long, especially if it's an older strain, that it's absurd to assume it's the same thing. And it's even absurd to assume that unless you know that the plant was grown in the same plot as another plant, that strain will be similar enough that you could say it's basically the same thing, because I mean, the soil composition and all that has way more effect on determining the strain stuff than the label. So that's why I stay out of it. I don't believe that there really is. There's a lot of good for reviewing strawberry diesel. I'm saying strawberry diesel a lot, I understand. And 2, I am not very good at even if that weren't the case. I'm not that perceptive. I'm a hollow person, so I don't have a broad emotional spectrum. That wasn't meant to be a dig at anybody or any group, and I'm not meaning to disparage anybody if anybody took it that way. No, I'm just saying I'm stupid. I'm a stupid person, and mostly it's just a dial tone inside my head at all times, just a low humming, not tinnitus or something that you should feel sorry for somebody for, but just kind of like imagine a drool. If you could imagine the sound of somebody drooling, that's the sound, the background of my brain. So take that into account with everything I say at all times. Okay. Where are we? I am so high, I don't know where I am in the chat. I was at Take Some Rips. Oh, crap. Guys, I'm just gonna jump up in chat. Where are we at? Jumping up. California is a shitty situation. California is an unfortunate situation. It's the confluence of a lot of not great decisions and unscrupulous people, and then a federal system that's more than just working at odds with you, but is actively how would you describe? I mean, in our federal system, weed is still described as bad as heroin. It's wait, is it worse than? I don't know if heroin is, maybe heroin's class 2. I don't know, but I mean, weed is still considered to be the worst category of narcotic available, and they have to work around that, and that again encourages people to because those lines are blurry, you're gonna have people that like to operate in blurry lines fuck everything up. I don't always. I find when I do live streams, I often get more. Oh, I'm a dog. Hey, hey, it's a dog. Hey, let's see if we can get her up here. Oh, she went straight under the desk. Oh, it's another dog. Hey, look, dogs. Hey, come on up. Yay. Everybody likes dogs. Oh, yeah. Did you take a shit? Did you? Oh, you did? Oh, good boy. He probably took a good old shit. Yeah. Alright, well, bye, guys. Fucking assholes. Fucking assholes. Okay, where are we at? It's possible to get legal carts in illegal states, especially out here on New York City, but it won't be cheap. I'm sure there are some very, very, very ethical fences. Just make sure you trust the guy, and make sure that guy trusts where he gets his stuff from, too. Yes. And I'm sure that you will be paying a premium for that security. Okay, Jay says, welcome, Jay. Also, something Jay says, mandate federal level testing and be safer. Yes, yes. Just be smart about it, guys. I mean, just, come on, federal government. Your obstinance is gonna lead to more shit like this. So federal government, just, I know you don't like it, but you know it's inevitable. Well, what am I talking about? This federal guy, well, better not get started. Ain't nothing happening. I'm just gonna let you know for a while. Ain't nothing happening for at least 16 months, at the bare minimum, absolute minimum, probably a lot longer. Your best hope right now, I believe, is just that they continue to leave us alone. Of course, I would love for there to just be, obviously I would love for it, there would just be a gavel struck somewhere and it would be decreed to be legal for everybody everywhere. I know that's not feasible. I know that's not rational to think that's going to happen, but I can at least, hope. It's not that crazy to hope for just some level of cooperation or assistance or I don't know, between the federal government and states that have made it illegal. They've not, admittedly, they haven't harassed them too badly, but they haven't been doing anything to make life easier for them, to encourage those laboratories of democracy to laborate. That's not a word. Who said laboratories of democracy? Was that like, fucking, what's his face? Buckley? It's one of those, like, conservative luminaries. If so, I apologize. I never, ever want to say something that William F. Buckley. Jeff Buckley, I'd say, I'm not worthy of saying anything he ever said, but, William F. Buckley, fuck you. I don't know if that's who said that. But still, fuck you, William F. Buckley. Who thought we'd be talking about William F. Buckley right now? And now I'm so high that I am terrified that I'm not talking about the correct William F. Buckley. Oh my God. No, okay. Yeah, okay, no, yeah, yes. William F. Buckley Jr. William F. Buckley Jr. Yeah, that guy. Fuck him. Sorry. Holy shit, I did not need to do that. But, sometimes you just gotta say something bad about William F. Buckley. Okay, Christopher says, and welcome, Christopher. I don't think we've said hello yet. Anyone have trouble with weight count with dispensaries? First time I feel like I need a scale. I don't buy flour too often. It is now very often at legal dispensaries. You see it pre-packed a lot, which really, makes it harder for the consumer to know ahead, if they're being ripped off. I don't know, because if something's pre-packed, you still won't know, even if you have a scale, because you don't know how much the packaging weighs, right? So pre-pack is a bit of, it's a little anti-consumer, but there are some upsides to it. I understand. I don't want to wholly condemn it. Okay. Ghost Show says he gets his weed from a local farm. Lucky bastard. What's your why, Ghost Show, do you hate dispensaries so much? Is it just the markup? And do you still have to pay any taxes? I mean, you don't have to incriminate yourself, of course. I mean, I guess that's what I'm asking you to do, but you can do it cryptically. Why you hate dispensaries so much? Everyone's talking about prices, which is great. Christopher says, Wheats, why are baked edibles more potent than gummies? Thanks. I think, Christopher, that's a great question. One that I ruminated on for a while. And there are some brands that so it was like it still seems to be true to this day. I think it has something to do with fat content, probably, that maybe most gummies don't have enough fat, but it shouldn't really need to matter, because the weed should, whatever's in there, whatever it's infused with, should be, decarbed anyways, so it shouldn't really matter. But the fat content at that point, doesn't, I don't know. My guess is it has to still do with the fat content of baked goods. There's usually lots of butter and shit in there, whereas gummies are mostly, not a lot of fat, obviously, in gummies. It's mostly just sugar. So that's my guess. I don't know for sure, because I'm not a scientist. I'm just what's the word? Irresponsible speculator. I'm just being irresponsible. Ghost Show says heroin will make Neil in truck stops. I'm not sure what the context of that was, but I assume you mean your desire for heroin will make you do sex acts that you otherwise would not have wanted to do, other than to attain the means to gain heroin in truck stops. I don't remember what the context was, and I feel bad for anybody who is in heroin that has to do that to satisfy their addiction, because addiction sucks. It sucks, especially opiates. Don't judge opiate addicts, guys. I mean, don't judge alcoholics, I guess, either. But addiction's a tough thing. The more we understand, the more we know it's really less under people's people have less influence over it than they may have hoped. So, damn it, we're getting heavy again. I need to play a video game or something. Okay. Carson, PS4, says, hello, Carsonen. Hello, Carsonen, PS4. Hope you mean Dimitri with your title, LOL. I don't know what I mean with my title, to be fair. I don't remember what Dimitri is. The only thing I can think of with Dimitri is I'm pretty sure he is one of the leaders in Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I'm not 100% sure. And I was talking about that earlier, so it's possible, but that seems unlikely. So maybe I just embarrassed myself. Steve Andrews says, I thought gummies were for dummies. Steve Andrews, yes, that is still a heuristic that I think is okay to go by. But in this new legal sort of everything gets lab tested world, I found a lot of really good gummy brands recently that still don't get me quite as high as something like a batch of Korova cookies at an equivalent milligrammage, but are still totally recommendable, especially just because 20 gummies is better than 10 cookies any day of the week. I do still endorse the gummies for dummies heuristic, but like all heuristics, there are exceptions, and there are enough exceptions at this point that using that heuristic may prevent you from having the absolute optimal edible experience at all times. Shit. Man, I'm high. Okay, I didn't mean to talk about optimal experiences and things. I don't know what I meant to talk about. Oh, I know what I mean to talk about. Bernie is going to executive cannabis order into, or executive order cannabis into law. The Donald Trump model. Just get that EO going, because the executive is basically a monarchy, says Bill Burr. Bill Burr? No, Bill Barr. Bill Burr has a Netflix special. Bill Barr, much more evil. Bernie's dead, retorts. I wish that would be true, Steve Andrews. I'd be happy. I tell you what, I would be over the moon with either part of that sentence coming true, coming to pass. I am not incredibly optimistic that it is, or will be, but either of those sound great. If, I wish Bernie all the best. I like almost every piece of what Bernie is selling. So, there's no reason to say anymore. Bernie. Ghost says he's dead, though. But, it's weird. Primaries. Who knows? But I wouldn't count him out at this point, but I wouldn't say that he is looking especially, I wouldn't put my money on him, I guess is what I'm saying. But, I would not count him out. That's the way gambling works. Robert Mills, welcome. I don't think I've said hello. Maybe I have. Says, seems like the half-gram cart are all short-filled. That may be true. You can always review. You can always, and I guess I should try to do that at some point just to see, because I do have a small scale. You could just review a cart, weigh a cart before using it, at its virginal usage, and then weigh it again when it's completely dry and see if that's exactly half a gram. Wait. No. That's not a... Wait. Shit. Wait. Would that work? No. Maybe. Who knows? Those higher brain functions that require more than what's like the level 2 brain function, Daniel Kahneman says, they're out. I'm all level 1, baby. It's reptilian in here right now. Okay. Christopher says, I read a New York Times article that agrees with you. I was just curious why, but your theory makes sense. I don't no, I love that you agree with me. I'm thrilled that you agree with me. Thank you for agreeing with me. I'm not sure I remember exactly what you were agreeing with me with. Does anybody want to play Super Smash Brothers? That's a weird question, but it's an honest question. I feel like I'm still getting back in the habit of this whole the live streaming thing. I used to do it a lot more frequently and for a lot longer time. But boy, uh, doing it sporadically, doing it more often now, which I'm really enjoying. Tough on the old larynx, I think. Whatever. You get a sore throat, or you get your voice gets hoarse and pretty more quickly than I would have thought. That's a lot of bitching. Holy shit. I could have everybody could be saying, oh, I'd love to play Smash Brothers. Okay, where are we at? Feel the burn. Says FaZe Hayes. I guess the Bernie wars are still going in chat. Feel the hashtag feel the burn. See the 2016 bumper stickers. My neighborhood still somewhat often, and every time I see one, it still hurts. Okay, Grovel says Bill Burr's new special is awesome. I have not watched it. Bill Burr, he's a funny guy for sure. I really liked what's that animated show on Netflix? That what is his animated show called? Where he basically just plays his dad in it, and it's his voice, and he writes it. It's good. It's really good. And Laura Dern's his wife, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it has maybe the best theme song on TV. It's great. So if that's enough clues to Google it, go for it. F is for family. There we go, you guys. Reliable as AF. Fuck. Okay. Thank you. It's a good show. I enjoy it. And the theme song, awesome. Dano says, how often do you partake? Often. 6 days a week, probably, I would say, on average. And that might be low. I would proudly say not 7. But not a whole integer either. I've got a little joint left. It is just a little joint, but it's kind of adorable in its own way. I'm really enjoying it. Robert Mills says only 6, disappointed in me. I was rounding down, and I was being generous to myself. I'm not, I'm pretty guilty of bloviating on occasion, pumping myself up, trying to make myself seem like a big man. But that's not what I don't know why that would be something you would be not proud of. If you smoke 7 days a week, if you smoke 9 days a week, more power to you. It'd be weirder if you smoked 8 days a week. I don't know what, I was blocking the AC. Wow. I didn't even know what I was doing, and I did it anyways. That's wow. That's the power of love. I got dry mouth. I don't have any. Whew. Wow. Ooh, I like that emoji usage. Dano. I wish I were better about my emoji usage than I am. I'm not one of them people that's like, oh, you know, screw emojis. I think they're delightful. I think they're great. I just wish I was clever enough to use them. I don't even think about them. But I love them when somebody does. That emoji usage is recursive because I would describe that emoji usage as that very emoji. It is the thing in which it describes. Wow, far out. Tardigrade A, Tardigrada, Tardigrade A, Tardigrada 6000. Please, I'd love to pronounce your name correctly. Let me know if you'd like, if I didn't butcher it too badly, or if you're not offended. Are you from California? I live in California, and I consider myself a Californian, but am I from California is a bit of a different question. I live in California, and I have lived here for almost 4 years. I consider myself a Californian, but I'm from, I guess you would say, East Tennessee. A delightful little slice of hell. Dano, thank you. Yeah, more emojis, more the better. Delightful. So where did I grow up? Yes, I grew up in East Tennessee, a suburb of the small-ish city known as Knoxville. Really only famous for the Sun Sphere. It's not a bad city, but I grew up in a suburb of there. Okay, the Ghost Show. Ooh, that's a delightful topic. I'm gonna call this done. It's getting really ashy on me. I think I was doing the Father, the Son, and the Holy something. The Ghost Show. It Chapter 2 was rather disappointing, and I've got to say, I agree. I wasn't a huge fan of It Chapter 1. I feel like I talk about it too much. I know I've done it at least once as a cherry on top. The original, or the book, It. It holds I know it is not as good as I enjoy, but it holds just this sort of, I'm not a nostalgic person, but there's something about, I read it when I was in 5th grade, sort of like the age the kids were, maybe like a year younger or so, and it just, because I read it at that time, and at the place I read it at, just super resonated with me. And, read it when I was a kid and loved it. It was my favorite book for years. And then, of course, I got older and read other things and, just assumed loved it because, I was 11, and 11-year-olds love anything that is, considered adult. But I went back to it as an adult and revisited it, and I still absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it in a different way than I enjoyed it when I read it the first time, but still felt it was sort of as moving and incredible in scope and in size as I had remembered. So that all being said, I went into it, the first one, with some expectations, which I normally don't do. I'm pretty good about not carrying baggage about source material into things ahead of time, and usually being able to judge things on its own merits. I don't get that pissed off about remakes and things, and that doesn't really bother me. But I did have a little prejudice for how it was, the first one was done, and basically how it was structured, and some other sort of quibbles. So I already came in with diminished expectations, and then the movie, Chapter 2, came in and further muddled with things, and was kind of a mess in terms of structure. It was just, it felt, I remember turning to my wife after it was over with and saying, like, can you really just have straight horror for 3 hours? Like, there is so little time. They spend so little time relieving tension anywhere. I mean, it's a funny movie. Actually, I like the argument that it's a better comedy than it is a horror movie. It is funny, but they're just like quips that come in, and I guess those work at alleviating tension. But man, it is just, it is scary. There are some I think very scary sequences in there, but it is relentless with them. It is just non-stop. Boom, 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 boom. Like, little mini, almost like little mini movies, like, in and of themselves each time, almost, it felt like. And, it got tiring. And, you know, that's one quibble I had with it. I did not hate it. I really didn't. I know some people truly detested it. I think Andy Muschietti, I think that's how you say his name, I think the dude is, like, I think he's pretty talented. Because I think he'd make some crazy fucked up imagery. Like, there's some shit in there that I think is crazy that they both allowed in a movie that's going to be as big as it is. You know, and is just as fucking freaky as it is. There is some cool stuff. He's just not the right guy for this particular story, I think. So, it was a bummer. I didn't hate it. It just was, the odds were always stacked against it, and it didn't do itself any favors anyways. Whew. That was a lot of talk about it, Chapter 2. That's all my feelings now. We found out that Tardigrade A is originally from Delaware, corporate state 101, headquarters of every Fortune 500 company practically in existence. Nah, I don't know if that's true, but certainly a shit ton of them. Yeah, Delaware. Oh, here's my most fun fact about Delaware. And it's not as fun because I don't get to actually reveal it as a piece of trivia. I just get to tell it to you as a fun factoid about Delaware. Routinely, when surveyed, when people are asked to list all 50 states, the most commonly forgotten state is Delaware, which is a little bit ironic because it's also the first state, technically. I think that's even their motto, maybe. But that's all I know about Delaware. Something about George Washington crossing a river called that. Great corporate loopholes for tax shit, and people forget it exists. Because it is small, and it is weirdly shaped. And there's a city called Dover. Dover. Okay. Robert Millis says, we've got everybody saying where they're about. Amex says, yo, bro, what you talking about right now, bro? I think I was talking about it, maybe. I am sorry to say my voice is starting to go here. I'm gonna catch up to chat. Speed round here. The Ghost Show. But people forget Stephen King endings suck. He can't write an ending to save himself. He wrote it raging on weeks-long coke binge. 2 things. 3 things. Favorite factoid about Stephen King, it's in his great both memoir and literal style guide on writing. It's a bizarre book. It's great. I haven't read it in too long. I'd love to read it again, actually. But he talks about he was so high on codeine at the time that he doesn't remember writing Cujo. He literally does not remember writing it. And he was writing at such a feverish pace, you know, it probably didn't take him more than like 2 or 3 months or whatever. But he's just like, he knows he wrote it, you know, he when he reads it, I think it's like, you know, he's like, oh, it seems familiar, but he's like, yeah, he just does not remember writing the novel at all, which is crazy. I do largely agree with you that Stephen King's endings aren't great. He does like them a little bit happy and a little bit ambiguous, but I would say that it, even though it does fit in that modality, has a great ending. It is it fits the sort of the tone that he had established for what these people are and who they are to each other and what they owe to themselves and what the world owes back to them. I think it was just incredibly well handled and bizarrely, weirdly, crazily flipped in the movie, which why? I don't get. I guess because it's a little sad in the book. I don't want to. That's all I'll say. Not to spoil anything else. Okay. Bryce Maynor. Hey man, thanks for joining in. I really appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Oh, Tardigrade. Sorry for talking shit about Dover, but then I take it back because you said it's awful. Vegas, what's up, man? Vegas, so glad you are here. Oh, Vegas Wedman, no. Stephen King, guarantee you, Stephen King is not have a ghostwriter. Stephen King is the opposite as he is. The man himself was so prolific in the 80s that he wanted to know if his shit sold so incredibly, crazily well just because his name was Stephen King. So he's like, I have so much extra stuff that I'm just going to invent a pen name and a whole new persona and release some stuff under that banner and see if it flops. And that's where Richard Bachman comes from, which is where one of Stephen King's best works ever comes from, The Long Walk. Look it up. So good. Truly one of like top 5 Stephen King stories, bar none. It's written as Richard Bachman. And he was pretty successful. I mean, it wasn't Stephen King successful, but the dude is just that crazy prolific. I am not concerned that Stephen King has a ghostwriter. Not to stan for Stephen King. I'm not sure if I'm cool enough to say stan, but I really, truly would doubt the man has a ghostwriter. He has a condition. He's retired like 4 times. He just like has to get shit out of him. He's cool. Favorite glassware for smoking? A water pipe of any kind, not particular. Maybe said, oh, Fortnite Gamer said, read my messages, bro. What? I don't see his messages. I'm sorry, Fortnite Gamer. Damn. Okay, all those things are true about Stephen King. I would not say that his politics has torn his mind apart. Can't say that. I'd say that the dude is as sharp as ever. I don't really... I actually read, just because I was so sort of in that mindset still, I did read The Outsider, the big one that came out like this summer before last, or last summer. The one about the one that drinks children, I think. It's pretty good. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't, a classic, but I enjoyed it for a good horror yarn nonetheless. When you wish children's death, it's game over for me. But he doesn't wish children's death. He doesn't wish children's death. That's not true. I don't know. Yes. I don't know that about Stephen King. I cannot speak to it. I hope no one ever wishes death upon children, because that's awful. So that would be all I can say speaking to that. And that's all I can say speaking to anything, because if I don't stop now, I won't be able to talk tomorrow. And I need to be able to talk tomorrow, unfortunately. So it has been delightful hanging out with all 23 of you now. Thank you so much for joining in. Anybody who stumbled in at any point, you've been a blast to hang out with. All of you, it's been a lot of fun. Fortnite Gamer, just send me on Twitter. I didn't see it. Fortnite Gamer, send me on Twitter. I gotta go. Bye. Bye.